guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Myself and Keane Menton here for another League of Ireland discussion show. We have a couple of topics today. Season structure, we're going to start off there. We're going to talk about the First Division Fiasco, which could be interesting. And we're going to talk about the increased prize money in the league. First up, Keane, anyway, we'll get into the season structure. So it's March 19th to November 19th. Now that's good because it means a 36-game season. It's what we wanted. It's what we hoped for. Anything less, I think, would have been a bit, wouldn't it, in fairness?
Yeah, look, I think it's great to see a full season. Like it's exciting. I can't wait to get going now. Like 6 weeks away. Like it's exciting for fans. I think, and anyway, like I'm looking obviously the standout fixture is Pats and Rovers without a doubt on the opening night, which I presume will be on RTE. So it'd be a really good game to see, and I'm really looking forward to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose one disappointing facet is no League Cup, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
We were hoping that could happen as a pre-season tournament. And as it happens now, they're saying there may not be any friendlies at all, which is a bit concerning. It's very difficult for any club going into a season with no friendlies, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's not ideal, but I think everyone now is just so used to adapting to the new normal. So I think clubs are just happy to get games, whether it's friendlies or late games. I think, like, if you were to ask a club, do you want to play next week, they play the league next week. So I don't see that being too much of an issue. I think, if you lose a couple of games at the start of the season, that could be used as an excuse. But you know what I mean? That's probably the only reason why. But I can't see any issues with it. Like, if players are coming back, like you're looking at the fitness levels, the stats. I always hit a few stats and like frightening how good the players have kept themselves, considering that the date was only announced a couple of weeks ago. So it just shows you the dedication the players are putting in. So look, I think you have about 4 weeks of friendlies, and anyway in the normal season, and you're still 3 or 4 games away in the league before you actually really kick into gear. So I can't say it being an issue now. I really can't now.
Especially if everybody's going to be in the same boat.
Yeah.
There could be friendlies, yeah, they're just not sure, but it just looks like there might be friendlies. The FAI Cup will start in July as well. Again, we're not sure if non-league teams are going to be in this competition or not. That's unclear at this minute in time, but at least, FAI Cup starting in July. As I said, 36-game condensed season, though. It is very condensed, isn't it? I think there's a lot of fixtures in April and May, I believe. Excuse me.
Yeah. There's a good few where, look, I don't care when the games are. I just want to play them at this stage. I want to be at the games. I'm one of the lucky ones across the whole country to be able to go to the Pats home games. Like, I'm blessed, but even, like, I know we're probably going to grant with the talk and now watch LOI and stuff like that. I wouldn't be too concerned. Clubs will just do it themselves. And look, we're not going to go and match without seeing it. And, like, it's a shame that the games are kind of at the same times again. So you're not going to be able to have the luxury of watching 2 on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday, and 1 on the Friday night. You're not gonna have that luxury anymore. So to be honest, I don't think anyone really cares about that. They just want to see their own team play, and they just want to see a full league season. That's like me. I don't care when the games are. Do you know what I mean?
The main thing was the full league season. Like, I did think it would happen, but you're never sure, are you? So that was the concern. Like, there was talk at one point of a 27-game season, which of course is better than half season, but still 36 games is just the main thing.
I would have accepted the 27-game season if they brought the League Cup in. But in fairness, the FA Cup.
This way, would you go 36 games without a League Cup or 26 games with the League Cup? Which would you go for?
I'd like the League Cup personally because Pats aren't in the greatest shape, and you give yourselves a chance of winning. You're in 2 cups, then who knows what happens? Especially, like, you just don't know what's around the corner. But then you're looking at full league season. You might need them. Like, I think you're looking back on last year, and it looked like clubs, like especially Pats, were actually turning the corner towards the end of the season. And then you're like, geez, we could have done with an extra 3 or 4 games. We might have found ourselves in Europe. And there's loads of clubs in that boat. But that's what I'm saying. I think it's a catch-22. You don't know in that position, But I'm just happy to see more than 18 games.
Yeah, that's true. That actually leads on to my next point there, actually. I think Pat suffered a bit last season where they didn't play for a month when they were unbeaten in maybe 4 or 5 matches. And, that knocked them off their perch a bit, I thought. Interesting this season, though, the fact that if clubs, have 14 available fit players, the match will have to go ahead. Yeah. So I think that's a good thing because it's black and white. It's less messy. Okay, it can do you harm. It can do a team harm. But at the same time, we can't afford to be cancelling games here, there, and everywhere next season either, can we?
No, look, I think I have to commend every single player that plays in this league. You're not getting paid a serious amount of money. A lot of them are working outside. Outside, I'd say the top 10 in the country. Everyone else is working, and the players are doing a tremendous job of keeping themselves and their family safe. It's not easy, and the full-time footballers are going to train and going home. They're not out anywhere because they don't want to bring COVID into the camp. And you have to look. Footballers at the best of times have so many restrictions. They can't do many things with the way their training programs are and stuff like that. And now they have this on top of it where basically they can leave the house to go to training. Yeah. And that's it. And, you have to commend them for that. But I think, safety is first and foremost for anyone. In this league, players, it's a job. Football, it's a few bob. Sorry, it's not a job really for any player. A lot of players in this league aren't doing it for money. They're not doing it for a job. They're doing it because they love it and they get a few bob on the side for a bonus. But it's just. I think we kind of take away the fact that these are human beings and that they're actually players and that they're probably getting 150, 200 quid a week off the club that way and all the sacrifices they're making. So, I think you have to commend them for that. And safety is the most important to keep them and their family safe. And I've no issues next year going forward with the structures made by the clubs and the way how safe the grounds are and the training grounds are. I've no doubt the players will feel 100% safe. And you can't say I'm not going to catch it. You can catch it down the shop. You can catch it with touching a lamppost. You can. It's gone. It's gone. It's there. It's not going away. So if it happens, it's nobody's fault at the same time.
In fairness, the League of Ireland, I thought, dealt with it well last year, and they're going to be more prepared clearly this year as well because you're more.
I think honestly, people like the FAI, I'd be a critic like millions of other people in Ireland, but I think the way they handled the last year and the way they handled everything and the watch yellow boy stuff like that, the way they handled every single thing last season was just, you just have to commend them. And look, this year now we're looking to kick on again as an organisation, as the Football Association, the governing body, to literally run this successful ship this year and get through the season. To be honest, last April and May last year, I couldn't see myself going back to Pats. I couldn't see the league even starting again. And to finish it and finish the cup final and Dundalk getting into Europe and stuff like that, it really was a fairy tale ending. So,
points last season where generally we thought the league is going to be cancelled. It's a couple of points.
Well, that goes for every league. You look at the Premier League. Who could have thought the Premier League was going to finish? Any league in the world, everyone was in the same boat. But to think, for us, with everything that goes against the league, as I know it's a professional league and the players are training professional, but the money isn't there. And I think it comes down to that. But everyone I think deserves a pat on the back after last season.
Yeah, I think you touched on earlier on about the Watch LOI, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen this season, to be fair. But as you kind of touched on as well, there will be platforms, there will be ways in which you can see games. I've no doubt about that. I tell you the good thing, but one of the few positives last season about not being able to go to games was the fact that we could go and watch nearly every game every weekend because they were on different times. Now this year it won't be like that, so it is a little bit unfortunate, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you will be able to see games. I'm sure Pats, I'm sure Galway, whoever the teams are, Drogheda, whatever, they're going to have their own streams or whatever. It doesn't look like.
Personally, I think the best stream last year for me was the UCD one. It wasn't actually UCD. It was some company came in and they done the UCD, they done the playoff final and all that. And I honestly, I genuinely thought that was the best one of the year.
And they
So,
didn't they?
yeah, they done it really well. They had the commentators, Jamie Moore and stuff. They had it down to a T. They knew every player, how they played. If Barton, I know your one got a bit of stick. I don't even know her name, but I know she got a bit of stick when get heard of.
Is it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that just in case I get in trouble.
In fairness to her, she she's doing her job. To be honest with you, it's not really her fault if she doesn't know all the players and that because she's employed by RTE to go out and do that job.
Exactly.
That's the point.
So, I know she got a bit of stick, but I can't fault the lads. I know Longford done one. Who else done one?
He done a good one. I know it might sound bad, surprise.
Wexford. Wexford done a good one, so it can definitely work. It's on YouTube. It's easier to access. I think look at the positives, and if the clubs are asking you to put your hand in your pocket to watch the match, I know it's going to be for free, probably on YouTube or something. Stick a fiver in the pot, see what happens. Look after your club. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting stuff there, Kim. We'll get on to the first division fiascos, I call it, because I just shook my head when I seen it. So I'll go through some of the bullet points, right? Right, so 19 fixture list possible, first of all. Applicants for licence told they may not know result until February 23rd, which is just bizarre. Switch to 12-team league possible if Rovers 2, Treaty United and Dublin County all get the go-ahead. Now, the mad thing about that is the fact the fixtures are out for the first division on Monday. And there's a possibility we'll either have 10 teams, a probability actually, we'll either have 10 teams or 12 teams in the league. And we're getting the fixtures early before those teams are even given their licence. The other thing I would say about this before I get your thoughts is the fact that they've even had longer to sort out the licence than they normally would. I saw this, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I'm just out of commending everyone, the FAI, for what they did last season and how well they done it. And then this happens and it's like you're back to square one again. I think it's laughable. I think it's embarrassing. Look, I don't know. We don't know the ins and outs. We don't know the reason behind it. I think it's important that they got the fixtures out. Whether there's been a delay in a few bob or contracts or licensing, you don't know what it could be. So it mightn't actually be 100% to the fault of the FAI, because I know, like, if I'm running the league, I want to know my teams and I want to know who's coming in. But you can't wait forever for that either. So, you're looking at the other clubs and the other clubs want the fixtures out. They want to see who they're playing. So, yeah, kind of.
It's difficult to look at a fixture list knowing there could be 3 teams added to it.
That's it. No, it's definitely like you're looking at the 3 teams, and I think it's I just think it's a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. Like the way 3 teams are coming out, and like 3 teams could be in the league now, and you're not even getting a fixture till they're in it. It's it's strange. It only happens.
I've no issue with 3 teams. I think 12 teams. Ideally, I'd love to see 12 teams in the Premier and the First Division, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, definitely. But it's this. I'm not mad on bringing the fixtures out and not having the clubs to maybe be in it. Like I'd say, look, if they're talking about this, the 3 teams are close. They have to be close to signing the contract to be in the league, because they're not going to delay the whole fixture list if these 3 teams are out. So I would be planning to play these 3 teams if I was in the First Division, because they're not going to put everything on hold for 3 teams that are nowhere near standard. You know what I mean? That are going to get into it. So I prefer for it, but it doesn't make for great reading either.
They could have 2 sorted and they're waiting on the final details for the last team, etc. But as I said before there, like they've had long enough to get this sorted out.
Yeah.
We knew about these possibility of teams coming in since last year. The league, in normal circumstances, is underway by now, isn't it? Roughly, we're in pre-season.
The league now is last year started on Valentine's Day. Pre-season is the first week of January. So
exactly, yeah. with friendlies and that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll be at the back end of our pre-season now, getting ready for the first day.
Yeah, no, it's a bit. I don't know. It's a bit mad, that one. We'll get on to the prize money, and 3.6 million support package was proposed to start the 2021 league season. The prize money pot has been increased to 600k for the men and women's league put together. By the way, it sounds nice, but you know, is it a lot really? I mean, I'm just looking at it here, right? League of Ireland last season, the champions got 110,000. This year, they're getting 130. Is it a bit of a token gesture for you, or do you see it as a stepping stone of progress?
Look, I'll be honest, I think the FAI could have given money and people would be still giving out saying it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's better
yeah.
It's better than last year. So, you know, it's positive considering the year and the state the organisation is in. To get an extra few bob off them for the league is positive. If anything, like after the year we've had, and look, John Delaney and stuff, the way the FAI is at this minute in time, to be honest, I was expecting it to be decreased, not increased. So, you know, it is a bonus. It's definitely not enough.
A lot of people would argue that it was low enough in the first place, wouldn't they?
Yeah, look, it's not enough. Everyone can know that. Everyone is there to see that. Like, clubs make their money in Europe and that's it. But you know, it's better than was. So I'm trying to look at the positive side of it. Look, they are giving a few bob in, and fairness to them. Look, they're always going to get stick no matter what money they put in. Let's be honest. Like years ago, the prize money was an awful lot bigger. And,
let's get to that actually. The League of Ireland 2009, I have it down here. The champions got 280 grand.
And people are still giving out though. Do you know what I'm saying?
Really? Yeah, but yeah, true. That's mental though. To think that costs of everything have gone up in the last 12 years or so.
Now, that was close. Money was gone within a year, and the Bows were bankrupt within 2 years. So you know what I mean. I think the less prize money as well. It's kind of like a catch-22. A lot of clubs, when the money was getting spent, when the money was being pumped in like that, you look at Cork City, Drogheda United, all the big clubs around that time that were in the league and winning things, and the money.
2006.
You know, all the money was being blown down the drain. But now I think clubs. Look, we've had our small. Well, I don't want to say small clubs. That's disrespectful. What I mean is we've had our Monaghan's, we've had our Sporting Fingers, we've had our clubs going out of business, which isn't great. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is you're looking at the top end of the table, and clubs aren't going bust like the way Bowes did and stuff like that. So clubs are managing the money better. The smaller prize money, I don't know why, I don't know how, but they're managing it an awful lot better.
I think it's a case of almost sometimes the less you have, the more you have to watch, if you understand what I mean. Like, you know, if you have a lot of money there, you might think, you know, sure, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, and suddenly the arse falls out of it, as you kind of suggested before. And that could be a reason for it as well. It is a bit of a catch-22, to be fair. Like, that's an interesting point as well. You know, because clubs at this minute in time in general are kind of well run. I know Cork had their issues this year, but that was happening all the time, wasn't it, previously? To 50% of the clubs.
That's what I'm saying. So, look, you're looking now, and it's not as bad as it was. We're looking at Cork, and you know, we're looking like when Shells went down. Cork are in believe it or not, are in a much better position than Shells when Shells were in that position. So, you know, it's funny the way it works with the more money and the more bankruptcy, really. But now you're looking at it, and it's definitely not enough to keep our, like, it's enough for Dundalk, it's enough for Rovers, it's enough for probably Sligo, who are going to be in Europe now and get a few bob. But you know, you're looking at the likes of Harps or you know, a Drogheda, a Longford. Look, I've no doubt they're running a tight budget, they're running it very well. So I've no fears that any club is going to go out of business with this, which is good. But it just means the owners, the chairperson, all the people that if they're fan owned, people are just going to have to dip into their pockets a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it quickly there as well, like fourth get 35 grand and bottom get 22 grand. not a big difference there, is there, between fourth, which technically is Europe as such, isn't it?
Yeah, I think knowing that you're going to be in Europe, you're going to get a few bob. So, you can kind of live with that. But, like finishing bottom, that's not bad, And in fairness to the league, that's not bad. Now, in saying that, it's probably only a month's wages for the club that finishes bottom. But at the same time, what do you want? Like, what do you expect?
I think as well, an interesting fact, if you notice, in the last year or so, a lot of players have actually moved to England or Britain, and actually clubs have got fees for them as well, which is good. Recently, Luke McNally left Pats for Oxford. There's a few other examples as well. Bowes got a good bit of money due to transfers going out as well. So at least that's something as well, rather than, I talked about that before actually as well, how I'm sick of kind of clubs losing top talent for them on a free, I suppose that's good news in some respects. You'd like to keep
grand.
Here.
200 grand is the talk about fee for McNally plus add-ons and stuff like that. Like that's in terms of England budget, that is pennies. Like that is a bargain. Like that's like that's.
The other one as well. Yeah, McInnes was the other one, 200 grand hard as well, wasn't it?
McInnes, yeah. So you're looking at these two players coming out for a player of their quality. If they were in League 2 or League 1, you'd be talking about 800 to $1 million for the player if they done well in that league. Now, I'm not saying like.
No, but I agree with you. I've mentioned that before, that I think players in, say, Scotland, if Aaron McInnes was playing for a team in Scotland, as an example, I think Hearts have to fork out more than that fee for him.
Exactly.
And it's one thing I don't really like to see to happen, really. But I'm not surprised, but I would have thought more Scottish teams, maybe with the success of Jamie McGrath and McCarthy recently, they're really tapping in and saying, look, hang on a minute, there's a few Irish players here can play. I mean, they got them for 30 grand between the two of them and the first team players. If you're in lower league England and do your homework, and you're in Scotland with certain clubs, there's bargains to be got in Ireland, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%. Like there's some serious talents in this league, and that's why we love it. That's why we watch it. And the players that are coming in from England and Scotland and stuff like that are adding to the league and adding to the quality. Like we're saying,
raise their profile. It often raises their profile as well.
Yeah, we've seen Bowles at the signing the winger now from Celtic and Rangers. We've seen Pat signing the keeper now from Liverpool, who he was on the bench, for 3 Champions League games. Like, it sounds good, right?
No, it does. And then you've got Hodge as well, who I was telling you about before, is a player that I would know a little bit about, and I was a bit shocked when I seen he was linked to Derry Waterford, to be honest.
These players sound good. They're playing. Look, there's no doubt about their talent. They're good players, but at the same time, they're used to playing with boys. And we've seen it. We look at Alex O'Hanlon, like as a prime example. Liverpool captain all the way through, underage, came to Pats, and he was just a disaster. Like
I think Glenn McCauley in there as well.
Yeah, players, definitely. We get excited about them as fans, but we have to realise, like, they're coming out on loan to get the experience. We're looking for them to. They're probably not going to be the star of the team. Personally, like, do you want them to be the star of the team? Probably not. You know what I mean? Because they're probably going to go and, then
even a player of a reputation comes over and does bad, in a weird way, you kind of like it, because you kind of go, I see the league isn't as easy as you thought now, was it?
Yeah, look, we've seen big examples like that, the likes of Owen Garvin, and we've seen big Damien Delaney as well. Like, we've seen big players struggle over here. McPhail, I know he had a lot of injury problems and stuff like that. But players struggle in this league. Paul Curry came back. I know he was playing with a broken leg for about 6 years, the way he was going. But what a player, what talents. But people struggle when they come back here. It'd be interesting to see the likes of Chris McCann, stuff like that, how he gets on, because he has a bit about him. I remember seeing him in the Premier League and seeing him playing for Wigan and Burnley and stuff like that. Really good player. When these players go away, getting back to the point with McInnes and McNally and stuff like that, it does stand here. Like we've seen big successes coming from Liverpool. League of Ireland, and rightly so.
And you're right, though, they kind of get weathered over here if they've a few years playing League of Ireland, and then they, and we see obviously players coming back here, and then progressing over there once they've had a few seasons under their belt. So yeah, no, it definitely helps. Look, guys, we'll leave it there. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, hit your bell notification button so you don't miss a video, and let us know what you think. Good stuff, Keane. Cheers for that as usual.